Now we'll discuss corporate income tax. Corporate income tax imposed on domestic as well as foreign companies, foreign corporates. This is on the base this is on the basis of flat rate of 30% on domestic companies and 40% on foreign companies, flat rate. So you can see the 40% is a huge amount. Who will come and do business in India when you are shouting that we are making policies that will be in favor of ease of doing business? This is not the ease of doing business. I'm not against the policy, I'm against the tax base. You should increase the tax base. If you want to invite, if you want a successful implementation of Make in India program, obviously you have to take care of this. And over and above, there is a surcharge of 10% and surcharge of 5%. Why less for foreign companies? Why there is sympathy? Already they are paying 40%. So tax liability comes out as 5% of 40%. So final liability comes out as 42% and here 33%. So in India, if you are opening a corporate and your taxable amount is 100 crore, 33 crore will go to Government of India. Here 42 crore. Then what about shareholders? What about dividends? What about retained earnings? What about next investment, further investment? Obviously, very sure. That is why the provisions like transfer pricing, BEPS, you remember, now you can connect the thing. Base erosion, profit shifting. So they have to shift their profit to their parent company. In 1 year, Reliance shows a zero profit. How is it possible? Because of the next tax we'll discuss under corporate income tax. That is known as MAT, Minimum Alternative Tax. So in 2009, the then Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee announced minimum alternative tax just to counter this kind of activity when companies are showing zero profit. So we write corporate income tax is a direct tax. Corporate income tax is the direct tax imposed on domestic as well as foreign corporates imposed on domestic as well as foreign corporates. First up, on domestic companies, CIT, from now onwards you write CIT, imposed at a flat rate of 30%, imposed at a flat rate of 30%, 30, with a surcharge of 10% over and above, with a surcharge of 10% over and above. Over and above. First off, on foreign companies, the CIT, the rate of CIT is 40%. On foreign companies, the rate of corporate income tax, that is CIT, is 40% with a surcharge of 5% over and above. The surcharge of 5% over and above. Full stop. In the first budget of current government, so right, August 2014, the first budget of current government, Union Finance Minister announced that in the next 4 years, government will decrease government will decrease the corporate income tax from 30% to 25%, from 30% to 25% in a phased manner. In a phased manner. From 30% to 25%. It means, do not write, just listen. It means whenever, so from that point of time, August 2014, we are just about to finish the 4-year time period. And this government has already presented its final full budget. And that reduction in the rate from 30% to 25% is just for the companies which are having turnover of 50 lakh and MSME companies. So the promise, what happened? Not fulfilled. Due to the conditions or the reasons given behind this, that crude oil prices started rising. So we have to mop up extra revenue in order to get the smooth implementation of goods and services tax. We are not afford to reduce this corporate income tax. These were the two reasons. So we have reduced the corporate income tax from 30% to 25%, but the companies for 50 lakhs of turnover or MSME companies. Getting my point? MSME industries are having 25% and the companies having 50 lakh of turnover. This is the current situation. But you write this because of the flat rate, 30% is the flat rate. These are certain exemptions given to that particular industries. Not for all. Getting my point? Now, under which act corporate income tax is imposed on companies? Can you tell me under which act corporate income tax is imposed on companies? So right, corporate income tax is imposed under the provisions of Income Tax Act 1961. Income Tax Act of 1961. The same act for both individuals as well as corporates. Any doubt regarding this? Next one is your custom duty. This is the last type of tax we'll discuss today. Custom duty. GST will take care in the next class. So custom duty is simple, imposed on export and import. There are three types of custom duty: basic custom duty, countervailing duty, and additional countervailing duty, anti-dumping duty. Anti-dumping duty. So it is imposed on the basis of additional custom duty because dumping is illegal. So you write first one. There are three types of custom duty: basic custom duty, countervailing duty, and anti-dumping duty, imposed on the basis of additional custom duty. Again I am saying basic custom duty, countervailing duty, anti-dumping duty on the basis of additional custom duty. It is imposed on the basis of additional custom duty. What about the status of custom duty? Do we have custom duty or it is subsumed under GST? You don't know the answer, I know, but apply some logic. That's why I'm expecting answer from your side. Do we still have custom duty, or it is the part of GST now? We have custom duty because it is imposed on export and imports. Getting my point? So there are only two types of duty that is not the part of GST. Can you name the second one? Very basic duty. Stamp duty. So whenever you will get some stamp paper, there is a stamp duty written on that, not GST. So these are the two types of indirect taxes that is not the part of GST. So now the question is, consider the following taxes. Which of the following is not the part of GST? Custom duty, stamp duty, and excise duty, wealth tax, like this. They can make question like this. So now the question is exemption part. Which type of indirect taxes are not the part of GST? आपको सबको पता है, सबने याद कर रखा है ये टैक्स हैं जो GST में आते हैं. But what about not? So only two types. Now under this, these two also the part of GST. Only the basic custom duty imposed at a flat rate of 10% on majority of the commodities. So this 10% rate is on majority of the commodities. I'll explain one by one what is this. Countervailing duty and additional custom duty. Just listen carefully. Additional custom duty imposed on dumping of goods. Now what's the meaning of dumping? Have you ever heard about this word dumping? Suppose this is India and this is China. Generally बड़ा बनाना चाहिए due to land area, but ठीक है. China and India, if China is dumping certain kind of goods in India, dumping means simple, selling a product cheaper in the foreign market in comparison to the home market. Getting my point? Suppose a gel pen cost around 10 rupees in China. Listen carefully. Concept of dumping. Suppose a gel pen cost around 10 rupees in China. Then China will produce 1000 units of this pen, and it will sell these 1000 units, 500 in India and 500 in China. So 500 will go to India and 500 will go to China in the domestic market. This 500 China will sell at 15 rupees in China and in 5 rupees in India. Will get the same revenue, but will able to capture the Indian pan industry, because Indian industries are not able to produce gel pen at 5 rupees. So they will be thrown out of the market. After the advent of Chinese companies in India, are you able to come across with any other brand of Indian pan apart from Reynolds? All are Chinese companies. In the series, lighting series of Diwali, you will get all the Chinese products. Getting my point? After demonetization, what happened? 2000 का नोट यहाँ छपा नहीं था, पर चाइना में लेडीज पर्स विद द इमेज ऑफ 2000 रुपी नोट छप के इंडिया में एक्सपोर्ट हो गए. यही की बात है गफ्फार मार्केट. आफ्टर डिमोनेटाइजेशन आपने 2000 का नोट देखा नहीं था, पर उस 2000 के नोट की इमेज चाइना में उस लेडीज पर्स पे छप के यहाँ बिक रहा था. अपनी आंखों से देखा मैंने. This is the amount of production China is having. China is not producing for itself. China is producing for the world. You can imagine the large scale production. This is how dumping, just to capture the foreign market. They are selling at low prices. Now, smartphones you are getting, Oppo and Vivo. What do you think? They cost around 8,000, 9,000 starting from, and they will go around 45,000. And if you see the feature of a new Vivo phone, देखा आपने? इस phone में ऊपर camera निकलता है इस like this camera like a shutter, pop up होता है, and that is very very strong. If you bend it like this, it will not break. If you compare the cost with other Apple products, obviously it is very very less. If that phone cost around in India is 45k, obviously this is the market price. So China is producing around 42k. This is the cost there. So they are earning only 3,000 rupees per smartphone. Or even I don't know, the cost may be around 50k. And they are incurring loss of 5,000 on every product just to capture the market. Because if you have a big pockets, you can absorb that loss. The same example is of India. Predatory pricing. Predatory pricing adopted by Reliance Jio. Can you imagine the situation before maybe October 2016? You were not ready to play a YouTube video on your smartphone. You were just waiting for Wi-Fi connection. But now you are streaming that. Just because of this, Jio is selling at low prices, incurring loss of 125 crore. Very less for the pockets like big industries. Just to capture the market. Now what is the result? After 2 years, Airtel is having the biggest market share in telecom industry, 25%. Vodafone around 17%. Idea around 18%. Can you imagine Jio? 16% in just 1 year. And you know though, these companies are operating for a last decade. And they are they are merged actually. This is the, and what about Airtel? Airtel is also incurring losses. But Airtel is a big company, so they are. Now you see the market share, obviously now this comes out as the biggest player in the telecom market. So Jio has increased the base, people are having Jio. Then they introduce that if you recharge for 300 something rupees, you will get free calling and etc. So the same facility for maybe 3 months, 1 month. What's the validity? 3 months. So if you have increased the base, अब habit बना दी आपने. किस चीज़ की habit बन गई? Streaming videos. ये चाय वाले लोग भी YouTube पे गाने सुनते हैं, देखेंगे नहीं पर सुनेंगे. Because of the habit. तो एक level आपका बन गया consumption का. Then you cannot degrade that level. That's a simple concept of economics. In economics, it knows the Decemberry effect. If you maintain that standard of living, it is very difficult to degrade that level. If you do not have income that like, you will start dis-saving. Like people are preferring travel in business class. If they have to travel in economy class, there may be a news in the newspaper. Example, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. If they travel in economy class, there's a news because standard of living goes down. The same thing. Now you cannot do this. Now if you recharge for 300 or 400 rupees, obviously Jio is able to reduce its losses. This is how you capture the market. On an international front, this is known as dumping. Are you getting my point? Now you can see the interconnection of our external sector with taxation. Simple enough. So basic custom duty, countervailing duty and anti-dumping duty. So whatever the types of duty we impose, now you know that Indian companies will not able to sustain in the market at 5 rupees. India will impose 5 rupees as a anti-dumping duty. But according to WTO norms, we cannot impose. So we impose the method of additional custom duty. So we have custom duty, but just for a temporary purpose, we are imposing additional custom duty of 5 rupees. cost will come around 10 rupees and market will equalize. So there's a win-win situation for customers, domestic companies, as well as government. Mop up extra revenue. Getting my point? So this is countervailing duty. This is product specific. Countervailing duty we can say as a country specific. Like recent examples of South Korea and Japan, Japanese companies, steel companies are selling cheap steel products in India. So our Minister of Steel, Chaudhary Birender Singh, imposed this countervailing duty on imports coming from South Korea and Japan for a temporary purpose of 6 months. It is allowed under the norms of WTO. So we'll discuss WTO later because WTO make an interconnection between agriculture, industry, external sector, etc. Getting my point? So we'll write few lines.
Sir, now this ETD subsumed GST and GST decided by the GST Council.
So these rates are decided by. These are temporary rates actually, not a fixed rate throughout the year. This can be changed. So these are under GST because these are the domestic duties. We are not involving export and import. We are just countering some imports that are available in domestic economy. Getting my point? So you're right. Custom duty is imposed on export and imports of a country. Export and imports of a country. Export and import of the country. There are three types of custom duty. First one, basic custom duty. Basic custom duty imposed at a flat rate of 10%. Imposed at a flat rate of 10%. Imposed at a flat rate of 10% on maximum commodities. On maximum commodities. Full stop. Next line. Second one is countervailing duty. To countervailing duty. It is also imposed on cheap imports coming into India. Cheap imports coming into India. To protect the domestic sellers. On a temporary basis. In bracket you write generally country specific. So cheap steels coming from South Korea. You can write the recent example. Cheap steels coming from South Korea, Japan. Next one is anti-dumping duty. Anti-dumping duty. These are the duties imposed on a product if a company is selling at cheaper prices in the foreign market, low prices in the foreign market in comparison to the home market of exporting country. In comparison to the home market of exporting country. That is anti-dumping duty is a product specific. Anti-dumping duty is the product specific. First of last line under this, anti-dumping duty is imposed by using the method of additional custom duty. Additional custom duty. Full stop. If you have any doubt, you can ask.
These are the domestic duties that are imposed. So this will be incurred on the Indian companies or the foreign companies?
Foreign companies. But after arriving of the goods. Like goods arrived at 5 rupees. But when they are about to sell or about to go in the Indian market, Government of India imposed that. Custom duty is totally on basic export and imports. That's it for today's class. Thank you so much.